On behalf of Scotland County Schools and Richmond Community College, I want to welcome you tonight for the orientation session for our Career and College Promise classes. Before I get started, there's some people that I want to introduce that are here as support people to help you and your child as we go through this process. From our central office, the Director of Career and Technical Education, Ms. Camille Goins. From Richmond Community College, Vice President for Curriculum and Instruction, Mr. Kevin Parsons. Of course, I can't get away without introducing Ms. Carrie Edmondson, our Director of K-12 Partnerships, her Assistant Director, Mr. Leighton Bell, and also, all the way from Scotland Early College, we recruited her / made her come. Ms. Crystal Collins, who is the liaison for Richmond Community College and Scotland County Schools. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an exciting time for high school students because upwards of 5 to 10 years ago, college classes during high school were unheard of. It was a time when everybody understood the fact that you had to finish high school before you could even think about taking a higher course. And once you decided to take that higher course, you were going to be paying for it. Well, we're here to tell you today that that opportunity has now been introduced to 11th and 12th grade students, and that we have eliminated much of that cost. And we're here to give you details about that. Now, that all being said, and that's a great thing, don't get me wrong. The idea of taking college classes while you're in high school, getting ahead, not having to pay as much for them, that is fantastic. But, there's always a but. With added opportunity comes added responsibility. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about the difference between a high school class and a college class. We're going to talk about the difference between attendance at the high school and attendance for a college class. We're even going to talk with your students next week when we do a more personalized orientation about how to address a professor. Because what we want to do is make sure that every student that has this opportunity takes full advantage of it and continues to be successful here both at Scotland High School and Richmond Community College. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Michael Chapman. I am an assistant principal here at the high school, and I am your point of contact for all Richmond Community College classes. Anytime a problem comes up, anytime you have a question, all you have to do is give me a call or email me, and I will have that answer for you. I've been working with RCC for over 4 years now, and I have really enjoyed the experience and what it brings for the students, as long as they bring an equal amount of responsibility to the course. Without giving away too much more information, at this time I want to turn it over to Ms. Carrie Edmondson, who is the director of this program for RCC.
Which brings us to FERPA, and this is more to the parents. No matter what the age that your child is, they're attending a college class. They are considered an adult. So you as the parent cannot call an instructor or email an instructor. You can, but they're not going to call you back or email you back. All communication has to go through your child. It has to go through the student of the class. There's a waiver signed that communication from the instructors between me and Ms. Goins and Mr. Chapman can give that information to you. That's why he wanted to let you know he is that point of contact. So between he and Ms. Goins, if there's a problem, them or the counselors here will be the ones that call you to let you know. I know that they're still in high school, and that's hard to understand. I had a parent call today and said, isn't there something I can sign that says that I can communicate with the instructor. There is not. So I need you guys to be aware of that. Most of the time, Ms. Collins is one that checks progress on the kids, on the students. She does that very, very regularly. The instructors that teach the high school students stay in constant contact with her. If attendance is starting to become an issue, if a test is missed, a paper is missed, if just work is not good in general, Ms. Collins gets that immediately and lets Ms. Goins, Mr. Chapman, and the counselors know, so then they can contact you as the parent to let you know what's going on. We will send actual written progress reports home in their report card about in the 9 weeks.
After the 9 weeks, it'll be actually attached to their report card. They'll get a progress report.
And that will be from the instructor, but it's attached to the report card, so it's going to the student. When they get that report card, their RCC grade will not be on there until their final report card in January. Is that when the semester ends? So in January is when that final grade will be on there. So that's why it's very important to us and going to be important to you guys as parents through Ms. Collins checking the progress as the semester goes on. It's 14 weeks of classes. It ends before Christmas break. College classes will start back in January, depending on when they take classes this time. It may start back before their semester is over, if it stays within their same block, or it may start back in the end of January when the semester is over with. But the communication between Ms. Collins and the instructor is she does a great job with that, and in letting everybody know so we can let you know how your child is doing in those classes. If there's anyone that has a 504 plan, any type of accommodations, you need to go see your instructor the very first week of class next week. Your counselor the very first week next week, because then they will contact us to get all those arrangements set up. You cannot wait until the middle of the semester. One situation we had somebody who made A through the whole class, and at the end of the semester decided they wanted to tell the instructor they had a 504 and they needed extra time on the final exam. Can't do it when the whole semester's been gone. So make sure you do that next week when you start your high school classes. If you have an accommodation, go see your counselor so they can let us know. And we have a counselor at our college that will get with them and do all the necessary paperwork. Okay, do I have any questions on the accommodations or FERP? Okay. Buses. There are buses that run, and you may want to speak to this. There are buses that run from here and to the Honeycutt Center, and it did run to St. Andrews. Now we pretty much have all of our classes at the Honeycutt Center and here on campus. There may be 1 or 2 classes that we have 1 or 2 students at St. Andrews. If that's the case, the bus will take them there if that transportation is needed. It does it for first block and fourth block. The only class it will not bring them back for is if they're in nursing assistant, because it goes beyond the school day. Now the bus can take them to the Honeycutt Center to begin that class. You will just have to pick your child up at the Honeycutt Center because they will not be done in time to get them back with the other kids. I'm going to have a sign-up sheet when this is over. If you think you may need transportation, I'm just going to get a list for Ms. Gowen, just so they kind of have an idea of how many people and what block that you may need that for. You are allowed to drive back and forth between the Honeycutt Center and here if you drive. Attendance. Mr. Chapman said a little bit about it. It is vital to be successful in your college classes. You have to remember, these classes are in 14 weeks, and you only meet 2 or 3 days a week. Now, some of you have math, and it meets 5 days a week because it has more contact hours. You cannot miss these classes. We all know, and your instructor knows, that emergencies are going to come up, things are going to happen. If you stay in contact with your instructor beforehand and let them know what's going on, they will bend over backwards to work with you, as long as it's not a constant. If something happens and you're sick, let them know. Let them know ahead of time. Communication is key, and you've got to stay in communication with your instructors. There's only a certain amount of time you can miss in each class where that instructor feels like you've missed so much class time that you're not going to be successful. And when that happens, they will send something to Ms. Collins and myself that says, we recommend this student drop or withdraw from the class so they don't fail by the end of the semester. That's no good, okay? You don't want that to happen. You don't want to get to that point. You don't want to lose a credit, because every college class you take, if it does not count as a core class in high school, it counts as an elective in high school. You don't need to lose that. You don't need to lose that credit. If you see the first day, the first couple days of class, this is too overwhelming for you, this is not something you think you can handle, from the beginning, go see your counselor and let them know. Okay? If you are having problems at all during the semester, we will work with you. We have tutoring service. If it's the class that you struggle in but you need help, we will get you the help. If you want to get through that class and be successful, we will provide the resources for you to be able to do that. So I want parents to know that that is available.
Let me just say, because some seniors, sometimes we may have testing scheduled, or 11th graders, we may have something scheduled as a school-wide event. I will actually contact RCC on days like that, because that's a school-wide event, so that attendance is kind of worked out between us. So just wanted to let you know about that. 'Cause I know several students last year didn't want to come to something that they needed to come to here, but it was something that they really needed to take, like a test that we were given here at school.
And they do have that, like with Plan or the ACT,
And
they're starting testing, and what we'll do is we let the instructor know that those students won't be there, but we'll handle that. But the first day of class, you're going to know, and I'm going to get to that in a minute, but you're going to know that instructor's phone number and that instructor's email, and you should be able to stay in contact with that instructor to let them know what's going on. Moodle, Web Advisor, and email. These are three things that is very important as an RCC student. I know a lot of you, when you got your acceptance letter, if you're a new student this semester, if you're a returning student, it's going to be the same. Your email address is going to be the same as it was in previous semesters. However, your password has probably changed. This is how you're going to communicate with your instructors. Moodle, parents, is how they Web Advisor is how you check the grade. We end in December. The report card doesn't come out until January, but in December, 2 to 3 days after class is in, their grade will be posted in Web Advisor. I can't give you the login information for Web Advisor, but I want you to know your child will have the login to all of these things. We're going to go over that and make sure every student can get into all three of these things. I believe we're looking to do it next Friday. They're going to give you more information about that when you start school Monday. But we're going to pull all the students that have RCC classes and put them in a lab and make sure that they can get in Moodle, Web Advisor, and their email. Email is how you're going to communicate. You need to check that 2 to 3 times a week. That is, again, that's how your instructors communicate with you, and that's how you find out things that are going on with RCC. Are there any just plain online students that are taking online classes? Moodle is very important. You do your entire class through Moodle. So we're going to go through that with you hopefully next Friday if the date doesn't change, but definitely before classes start on Monday. So these are 3 important resources that all you guys need to know about, and I want the parents to know that your child is going to have access to these. Moodle will have, even if you're not taking an online class, every class has a web portion to it, which means even if just the syllabus and the ICR, instructor course requirement, is on there, and all the instructor's information, it will be on there. They will post their grades on there. Even if they're taking a traditional in-class class, you guys as parents, with permission from your child, can go and Moodle and check that. That's what Ms. Collins is going to do a lot, to check on progress also. So you will be able to do that if your child shares their login information with you. Okay? And I just talked a little bit about instructor course requirement, and that's something that is going to be on Moodle. I suggest as the first day of class, you print off, the instructor course requirement is a very detailed syllabus. I suggest you print that the first day, and you know exactly what's going on the entire semester of each class that you're taking. Books, Ms. Goins is going to say a little bit about the CTE classes. I know I sent that letter out, and I had to choose my words because I knew it was going to be a little confusing the way we said it. If you're taking a course that is a career technical course, like the welding or the drafting, criminal justice, business, computers, those all fall up under CTE. CTE funds pay for those books. If you take college transfer classes like math, psychology, sociology, and English, I think those are the 4 main ones you guys are taking, you are required to purchase those books. I have books tonight if you would like to purchase them, okay? And as far as getting the other books,
If you have a class on campus, the books are with the instructors. They don't actually go home. They stay in the class with the instructors, or the instructor will give them out in class. All other CTE books, like CIS 110, if you're doing business, criminal justice, or nursing assistant, a list will be given to Miss Lynette Butler, the media coordinator. Once she has that list and verifies that you're on that list, you will actually check out the book in the library. Let me remind the students, because you are responsible for that book, and it needs to be checked back in when classes is over. If you do not return that book, that charge is going to go onto your account. So please take care of the book. It's just like any other textbook that you would get out of your class. Take care of the textbook and do bring it back at the end of the semester, because we reuse these books for each semester. Any questions about that? So just go by and see Miss Lynette about any of your books that you need to check out, and they have to be checked out through the library.
and I think I jumped the slides earlier. I told you guys about the progress reports already. Told you a little bit about this too. If you feel your success is in jeopardy, you got to don't just stop going to the class. I've had students that have said, I'm not going to do well in the class, so I'm just not going to take the test. Or I'm just not going to do my homework. It's much better to withdraw than to get an F if you're struggling. And if you're struggling that much in the class, what that counselor is going to ask you is, have you talked to your instructor? That should be your very first line of defense. If you're having trouble, have you talked to your instructor? Have you sought out any way help from another student? Have you talked to Ms. Collins or myself for tutoring? There are ways, like I'm telling you guys, there are ways that we can give you the resources to be successful in these courses. Now, I understand sometimes we take on a little more than, we bite off a little more than we can chew. I understand that, and there are those circumstances. But if you want to be successful in these classes, there are resources for you guys to be successful in these classes. But do not just say, throw your hands up and say, I'm going to, give up, I'm really not going to do the work, and you get an F. This starts your college transcript. It goes on your college transcript. It does not go away. So be aware and be mindful of that if and when that situation does occur. Okay?
And it's on your college transcript, but those grades are also sent over to the high school, so it does go on your high school transcript as well. So taking an F is not, no, it's not good.
You don't want that means an F in college and an F on your high school
Right.
transcript. And I know I've kind of run through that very quickly, but we're going to go much more in depth with your child, with the students next Friday. As far as logging into the system, seeing their courses, they won't be able to get into their courses until school starts on Monday, but they'll be able to get logged into all 3 of those things we said: email, Moodle, and WebAdvisor. Do y'all have any questions about anything that any of us have said tonight? Okay. All right. Thank you guys for being attentive, and I appreciate it.